Good evening. Tonight, authorities in North Carolina are revealing details of a case so shocking it has left a community reeling and investigators searching for answers that seem almost impossible to comprehend. Wellington Delano Dickens, 338, a father and stepfather, is accused of killing 4 of his children whose bodies were found hidden in the trunk of his car, and has allegedly admitted to burying a 5th, a newborn son, in the woods behind his home nearly a year ago. The scope of the neglect, the control, and the chilling detachment is so profound that even seasoned officers describe it as one of the darkest cases they've ever encountered. When deputies arrived at the home on Springtooth Drive, they found a 3-year-old boy alive, unharmed physically, yet surrounded by silence and tension that seemed almost suffocating. The house appeared ordinary from the outside, a quiet suburban home where life seemed normal to neighbors. But inside, it was anything but normal. Cabinets were locked. The refrigerator was chained shut. And the little girl, just 5 years old, survived by eating Play-Doh anything she could find because there was nothing else. Every small object, every lock, every restriction painted a picture of a household ruled by fear, control, and invisibility. Then there was the garage. Inside the trunk of a parked vehicle lay the bodies of 4 children. A 5-year-old girl, her 9-year-old sister, a 10-year-old boy, and an 18-year-old stepson. Some had been dead for months. The evidence suggested methodical concealment, an eerie calm in the act of hiding lives that had ended under Dickens' roof. How does a parent live day after day with this? How do the rhythms of daily life continue when death sits in the trunk of your car? The questions alone seem impossible, yet they are the very heart of the case. In interviews with investigators, Dickens offered explanations that were both casual and horrifying. He claimed that the deaths began with punishments that may have been too harsh. The 5-year-old girl, he said, died in her room after being disciplined. Her 9-year-old sister, who reportedly commented on her sibling's death, was silenced by tap and later found dead as well. The 10-year-old boy, whom he had been teaching to box, stopped eating, and Dickens allowed him to waste away. The 18-year-old stepson died months later from malnutrition. The pattern is clear. Each death was preceded by neglect, escalating control, and an almost clinical detachment from human empathy. And then there was Riley, the newborn. Dickens claimed the infant became ill shortly after moving into the home and died at roughly 1 month old. He said he wrapped the child's body in paper and plastic, walked into the woods behind the house, and buried him in a shallow grave. Investigators have yet to locate the body. The act itself, deliberate.com, and Secret reveals a level of emotional disconnect that is difficult to imagine. It was not the heat of rage or a moment of panic. It was the quiet, measured disposal of a human life conducted in the shadows. Why would someone act this way? Experts say Dickens' behavior reflects a complex psychological profile, a combination of extreme control, emotional detachment, and a distorted rationalization that allowed neglect to become normalized. In his mind, discipline justified deprivation. Authority justified cruelty. Over time, empathy was replaced by calculation. And when the children stopped eating, stopped speaking, or tried to draw attention to their suffering, the pattern of isolation ensured no one else could intervene. Every lock, every taped mouth, every meal denied reinforced a world where Dickens was in absolute control. What makes this case even more disturbing is the 911 call itself. Dickens contacted authorities directly, telling dispatchers calmly that he had killed his children and providing his address without hesitation. This was not a man fleeing responsibility. It was a man who had already lost his grip on reality, who may have wanted, in his own mind, to control the narrative until the very end. Experts note that such confessions often signal a breaking point, not remorse, but the collapse of the internal story the perpetrator has created. The carefully maintained world of secrecy can no longer hold, and the truth comes spilling out. Neighbors are stunned. They speak of quiet streets and ordinary lives. No one knew about the newborn. No one suspected abuse of this magnitude. The tragedy remained invisible until it could no longer be contained. The surviving 3-year-old boy now lives under state care, a child who witnessed horrors he cannot yet understand, whose life will forever be marked by what happened under the roof of the person meant to protect him. Tonight, Dickens remains in custody without bond, and investigators continue to piece together the timeline of abuse, starvation, and death. Each new detail uncovered adds layers to an already incomprehensible story of a home-turned-prison, a father-turned-executioner, and children trapped in a world of control and silence. And yet, even now, questions remain. Were there signs no one saw? Could anything have prevented this? What other secrets are still buried in the shadows of that house, in the mind of a man who chose control over compassion, punishment over care, and secrecy over truth? These questions linger with the community, with investigators, and with anyone trying to understand how tragedy can unfold so quietly, so methodically, right under our noses, because the truth is clear and terrifying. A home meant to protect became the place where fear, starvation, and death quietly claimed lives. And the investigation is far from over. The full extent of the story is still unfolding, and the world can only watch, horrified, as the details continue to emerge.